Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. It's prediction week. We've got a bit of a feast, 4 fights to predict. I'm here with Rick. Have we got over the AJ defeat yet? How you doing?
Yeah, it's it was less sore than the Ruiz fight because I never saw that one coming. I think like anything, like any punch as well. If you don't see it coming, then the one that damage you. I thought that there's a chance to happen, and I'll be just as gutted if Fury kind of loses.
Yeah.
Two of our big flagship fighters at the flagship weight. If that goes wrong, so I'll be equally as gutted. And there's a fair chance of that as well happening.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. Just last point on this. Obviously, AJ's activated his rematch clause. I think he activated it on the way back to the dressing room. Forecasted for late March, I think. What are your thoughts on that? I think Wyatt's going straight into it.
I kind of agree with what they've said. He kind of has to. I mean, let's part this because we could go down a rabbit hole. We need to do our predictions.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3. It was the fight that we didn't necessarily want, but we have it. It feels like now that it's come round, like the boxing fraternity has got all excited again, for this fight. And I don't know if it's just because we've been starved of big fights for 2021. And I've got to say, I'm really pumped for it now. I'm really, really excited. Not just the fight itself, but the actual card. They managed to keep all the fights together as well. It's a real, loads to go at. So we're gonna do 4 predictions: Fury Wilder, Helenius Kowanacki, Sanchez F.A. Ajagba, and then there's a DAZN card in Liverpool as well, which is also a cracking little card. But I think we'll just do a prediction for Smith versus Fowler, which is a great little matchup. So Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, how do you see this one going?
Well, like you were saying, buzzing for it now. Had AJ Fury, which would have been the ultimate fight, but instead we got two, instead of like a mega fight, we got 2 pretty big fights.
Yeah,
and we may never mega fight now, but I'm still going Fury. I think I said something like after the second fight, if it was to happen in the July, whenever it was in February, the original. If it's happening in July, I'd have leaned towards Fury by 80, and then it was postponed till Christmas, and I kind of thought that just probably gives 5 more towards 75-25. Then it got delayed again, or it got called again, and so I probably went to 70-30. And the whole reason I'm doing this is because more inactivity from Fury, and I think the inactivity helps Wilder and doesn't help Fury.
Yeah.
I think it helps Wilder where he can try new things, get over the loss. And Fury, I don't think is great when he's been inactive, even if he's kept on top of his weight. And now it got delayed again because of COVID, and because I don't think he's had a very good training camp. I'm now going 65-35, so I've got it quite close again. Still a fair gap to Fury, so he's a clear favourite, but it's not tight. It's not super tight, but it's got tighter. And again, I wouldn't be surprised now. I think if they fought straight away, I'd have been quite surprised at 80-20 if he pulled it off Wilder. Yeah. Now I wouldn't be ultra surprised because I'm not quite sure what Fury we're going to get. I think Wilder will have a few other tricks and look a bit different, but I don't think he's going to be hugely different. And if you pressurize him, he'll go back to type. But I just wonder what kind of Fury we'll get. And I can't forget that first round where Wilder landed on him in the second round. In the second fight, the first round, he landed on him and moving away and took the punch. You're a split second behind that. That's landing more foot, and you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's margins at that level, and that's my kind of concern. But I still go to Fury, but it's tighter than it would have.
It's so difficult to like, as I've watched Tyson Fury over the years, to kind of, it's almost, you've got to predict like what Tyson Fury are we going to get? Are we going to get the one that's going to go life and death with, John McDermott, or get put on the canvas by Steve Cunningham, or are we going to get the masterclass that that dethroned Vladimir Klitschko? I predicted Klitschko would beat him. I didn't think he would beat Klitschko. And I predicted that Wilder would knock Fury out in the first one. That was my kind of general thought on it, because I just didn't think he looked particularly great, and the opposition, Francis Pianetta and Safiri, and he just looked so out of shape. I just thought Deontay Wilder will eventually get to him and land on him, as he's done with his previous opponents. So I'm going to go Fury points. And I think it just feels like there's something crazy is going to happen. I think Wilder is going to put him down again. And I think we'll get a 55-60% Tyson Fury, but I still think that'll be enough to beat Wilder. I think he'll just get it on the judges. But I do think, Wilder knows he's not going to be able to outbox him. So he's just going to come in gunslinging, and he's just going to try and connect with that right hand. So I could see it being a little bit kind of chaotic and wild. And yeah, I think he's going to have to come through adversity. But similar to you, I've heard a lot of issues with his camp. He hasn't had the best camp. The preparation, obviously, with it being postponed. And then obviously, he's just recently had another baby. I think it's 6th, which apparently didn't go particularly well. So that's obviously been sort of in the back of his mind. And he's at 34, inactivity. Inactivity, I think, affects him more than it affects Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is generally kind of always in shape. You never really see him out of shape.
I'm sure 34.
Fury?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah, 33, 34. How old do you think he is?
31, 32 max.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe he's 33. I think he's 33. But like, he's an old 33 as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he is 33, yeah. 33, but he's an old 33. He hasn't lived the life. He's had that kind of 3-year hiatus and boozing, not looking after his body. I think that shortens your career. Ricky Hatton retired at I think he got starched by Manny Pacquiao when he was 31. He had that terrible comeback fight at 33 against Shevchenko. And he was just so far off the pace. Fury is a much more kind of natural boxer, and it's just, wedged into his DNA. I think he could beat, Deontay Wilder 3 or 4 different ways if he's in peak condition. But yeah, really long-winded answer, but I'm going to go Fury on points.
The only thing is that I think Fury has always been at his best when he smells danger, and I still think he feels there's danger from Wilder. So therefore, I think he will. I wouldn't be surprised down, and I probably think it goes points. I think he may try and do the same tactics. He may get caught this time because he might just be that little bit slower.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind almost half the fight he's doing is similar tactics. He might take one and then go into boxing mode, and win on points. But you're right. There's something in the air that something odd will happen.
Yeah.
You're right. Something bizarre. I'm not quite sure someone in a parachute will land in the ring, but
somebody will start crying.
Yeah, something will.
Who was that? Was that Oliver McCall, wasn't it, against Lennox Lewis? Started crying. Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be drama for sure. But yeah, I think. But yeah, Fury. He looks. I've seen like some of his pad work. But this is the thing. Like, you don't know if it's just Fury up to his old tricks, like just releasing videos of him just looking really slow on pads and not really moving his feet, and just generally, like, doesn't look in great shape either. And apparently he's been caught like limping, leaving the gym. So, but again, you just don't know if he's just doing that to, it will eventually leak back to Deontay Wilder just to get in his head. And I expect more antics, kept leading up to the weigh-in.
I've seen virtual stuff, but are they actually getting a head-to-head and all that?
Yeah, they did that. Didn't they do that?
They did have a press conference. A while. That's when Wilder just had the headphones on. But, fight week, I'm expecting them to come together. So I imagine that starts Thursday, doesn't it? Weigh-in Friday.
Yeah, weigh-in will be Friday. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see the big one. All right, let's go down the card. Robert Helenius versus Adam Kowanacki. This is a rematch. I think Helenius was pulled in as more of an opponent really for Kowanacki to hopefully run through, and then work his way up the rankings and put himself into a position for a mandatory position. Obviously, got derailed by Helenius, who just countered him. I think he stopped him in the 3rd or 4th round, something like that. It's a great fight. But yeah, how do you see this one going?
Not hugely confident, as I say, but I'm going for Kowanacki revenge.
Okay.
I think the danger for him, he's only ever really shown one way to fight, and if he does that, he's in risk of this happening again. I think he can beat Helenius by picking and choosing when he gets aggressive. So I think he'll fight a bit smarter, and he may, wait to the later rounds to kind of come on strong when maybe come out of his punches. So I'm expecting a more, Kowanacki knows if he loses this, his title dreams are kind of, over probably forever. So I think he will be a bit more composed. Not something we've seen him from before, but he's never had to be. So I think he will, especially in the early rounds, the first half of the fight, pick and choose when he gets aggressive. And when he gets aggressive, I think he will look better and win the rounds. Senses later on that Helenius, who's been around a long time, is weakening. He might go for it, then take more of a risk and maybe get him out late. But it's a risk, what I'm saying, because I've never seen Kowanacki do this before. But I think he's got more skills than he sometimes shows. He just sometimes goes flying in, and that's what got him caught. On the other hand, it was just one of those punches timed well, and Helenius may never be able to do it again. But I've just got a feeling Kowanacki's got a couple of ways he could do it.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet. I've been flip-flopping on this one. I'm gonna go Kowanacki by late stoppage. Yeah, I'm gonna go by late stoppage. I've just never really been that impressed. I was quite surprised when Helenius won the first one. I'm gonna go a late stoppage. I think he'll be a little bit more calculated with his attacks. Pick and choose, because Helenius has had some terrible kind of sort of performances. I think he got stopped by Gerald Washington as well. I don't see him kind of repeating that. So so we're going the same prediction so far. Do you want me to go first on the next two, as you've gone first?
Yeah. I know one was different against.
Really?
One, yeah.
Okay. Franck Sanchez against F.A. Ajagba. Again, it's a great fight. They're kind of both 50-50s, really, aren't they? They could, you could really see them going either way. I'm going to go with F.A. Ajagba on points. I think I've not been overly, as prospects go. I don't know if we're calling Franck Sanchez a prospect. He's definitely not 28, 29 or whatever it says on BoxRec. But both have got pretty slow feet. I've probably been slightly more impressed with F.A. Ajagba, but I think I see him. I see him winning on points. That'll be my prediction for that one.
I'm going, and again, as we get down to these lower levels, the confidence of my predictions drop away. But I'm going Sanchez stoppage.
Okay.
And not late either. I'm going like 3 or 4. I think. I don't think either are going to set the world alight. And fair play for them for each fighting at this level, because these are fights that they could avoid. But as I'm not impressed with either, I feel that Sanchez has got a bit more of the fundamentals. And Ajagba seems a bit, I think he's a bit vulnerable. He's been put down by more opposition at least once, seen him on the canvas. So I get the feeling he's going to take one in the 3rd or 4th round, and he's going to probably get up, but then it's going to pile on him and he's not going to get through it.
Yeah.
But okay. I'm more confident with my Fury bet than that.
Okay, Liam Smith versus Anthony Fowler. I kind of just backed Liam Smith when this one was called, and there hasn't really been anything that kind of persuaded me. I do think the Fowler Shane McGuigan link up is interesting, and that's definitely a good move for Fowler, but I still don't think he's going to have enough in his locker. To be honest with you, I do think the light middleweight division is very exciting in Britain. We've got a lot of really top, really good fighters, but I don't see any of them really on world level apart from Liam Smith. Liam Smith has been on world level. He's been world champion before, and I still think he has enough to kind of stop him late. I think he's going to I think Fowler will have some early success, but I think Smith's class will kind of show through in the later rounds, and I think he maybe stops him in like 10 or 11.
Yeah, so this is the one I knew would disagree on. Again, this is another tight fight. Do you know what I mean?
It really is.
Actually, weirdly, Fury and Wilder is probably the one that's got the most confidence, but even that's shrunk in the gap. But I'm going Fowler on points. I think I'm doing it through momentum. I hear everything you say, and it's not I disagree. I just think momentum's quite big. And I think Smith is on the way down and Fowler's on the way up. And I think Smith has also passed his best. I think he has been world class, and now he is deteriorating down while Fowler is going up. And I just think maybe they've met at the right time for Fowler to nick it. But again, it's I wouldn't be putting lots of money on that.
Yeah. Where do you see Fowler? Because I don't think Fowler's the best of that kind of the big. Do you call them the big four or the big five? There's so many of those light middleweights. Scott Fitzgerald, Ted Cheeseman, Troy Williamson. Where do you see Fowler as being the best of that bunch? Because I don't think he's the best of that bunch, to be honest. I think Scott Fitzgerald would probably beat him again.
I think we don't quite know where Fitzgerald is.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. Cheeseman, not really, gets hit too much. And got a great heart, but don't see him the top of those. So Fowler or Fitzgerald, but obviously, I think it's quite tight. I mean, because we don't quite know how good Fitzgerald is with his issues and stuff. So hard to answer that.
Yeah,
one of those where we'll only know it's all said and done.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. That's it. Predictions are done then. So we've both gone Fury to beat Wilder, Helenius to beat Kowanacki. I've gone Ajagba and Smith. You've gone Sanchez and Fowler. Okay, interesting. Are there any other big fights? Is a BT doing a card in support for the? I think they were talking about one, weren't they? But I think they've abandoned it now.
They were talking about one, because they were saying about would it be part of the pay-per-view, but yeah, not sure. Maybe to look up for our news for our next video.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's wrap this one up. Let's do boxing news. We'll talk about the issues and what's going on in the world of boxing. All right. Thanks everybody for listening.